Hey folks, before the video starts, I just wanted to thank Artistic Passion who did the thumbnail art for the last couple of videos. I wanted to credit her, but unfortunately I had already formatted a lot of my Final Fantasy review, and it was too late to include the image. It had already been sent to me by the time that she finished it. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even expecting it because I never even asked her for a thumbnail. She just wanted to do something nice for me and to help me advertise my review. Since then, I have credited her in the description of the second part, and once again, I'm going to leave a link to the thumbnail art in the description below. Thanks for calming me down, Pashy, and thank you for the Coca-Cola. Lord knows, after this piece of shit game, I really needed it. Well, on with the show.
He is no longer human. But then, I felt something object there in that shell. Couldn't you? You must have felt him when you came in contact with Sin.
It can't be.
It is. Sin is
John C.
I know I've already given this game my final score, but when it comes to games like Final Fantasy X, there's always more to talk about. And for this video, I'm gonna talk about other things that are just fucking wrong with this game. I briefly mentioned the bribing system in the last part, but I didn't really go into it, and the reason I didn't go into it is because, admittedly, I was still in the final steps of playing this game before I got this part out. And the things that I have to say about the bribing system are pretty much the same thing as everything else in Final Fantasy X. This game once again manages to break something that I didn't even think could be broken. The amount of money that you have to give to enemies is insanely high. You have to give hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of gil to a particular enemy, which means you're gonna run out of money very fucking fast, which is something that you're probably not going to like if you rely on gil to use Yojimbo. You'll have to go back to the Omega Ruins in order to farm gil from randomly appearing mimics, and you have to have Gillionaire in your arsenal or else the process is just gonna be very fucking slow. And that is basically everything wrong with the bribing system in this game. You have to give out shit tons of money at one time, and then you have to go back to the Omega Ruins to farm more gil, just so you can do it all over again. The ridiculous amount of money that you have to sacrifice just to get the items that you need means that you will have to repeat this process many, many times. So you gave Malboro 540,000 gil in order to get 4 Wings of Discovery. Oh, that's good. You only have to get 46 more in order to apply triple AP tier weapons if you want to level up faster. Even if you just want break HP limits for your armor, you'll still need 4,320,000 gil for one of them. Multiply that by 7 and you'll need over 30 million gil before everybody has break HP limit on them. And you know what's even worse? They deliberately gyp the number of items that you get regardless of how much money that you pay. So forget 30 million gil, you'll probably need 50 million gil before all 7 party members have break HP limit armors. Also, I'm pretty sure there's something wrong with Lulu's Onion Knight because it clearly has the 1 MP cost ability, and yet I'm using 2 MP to use magic. This can't possibly be a glitch in the game because other weapons that Lulu have used with the 1 MP cost ability only require 1 MP, and they function the way that they should. So why is Lulu's Onion Knight using 2 MP if it has the 1 MP cost ability? Did the retards who make this game seriously forget to double check their product before releasing it to the public? The Mage's Sisters are clearly the worst summon in the game, despite that they're labeled as the most powerful summons in the game. Even if they're the most powerful, they're completely useless. You have no control over the actions that they take, and they usually take breaks in between turns, giving enemies more up opportunities to attack them. Sometimes the commands that you give them don't even match the actions that they take. When I order them to do once more, I expect them to repeat their previous action, and yet the one that they're doing is completely different from the one they did before. The worst thing about the Magus Sisters is that their AI is fucking awful. Because you have no control over their actions, they just do whatever the hell they want, even if it's not helpful to the situation. They will literally cast water magic on enemies that are resistant to it, immune to it, or take health from it. I also want to briefly talk about the area you go to before fighting Jet, because there's a few more things wrong with it. The spikes will apparently show up even if you're in the process of grabbing a crystal for its item. So even if you're really good at dodging the spikes, the game will still force you into a fight to punish you for doing something that you're supposed to be doing just because you had 1 extra second collecting the crystal. The crystals themselves also have small touch boxes, so you'll have a hard time grabbing them, and the rotating camera doesn't help. And if you take too much time running up to them, they'll end up disappearing and you have to collect another one. The thing about that is the rotating camera always makes it difficult for you to navigate, so even if you're trying to be on point in collecting crystals, you won't be able to do it because you won't be able to see where you're going. And just when I thought the turn-based system couldn't possibly be any more broken, I was in the process of doing that leveling up with the Dawn Tomberry, and whenever Titus is KO'd and brought back, his turn is set back immensely. Even if you have auto life and auto haste cast on him, and even if you just had him use quick hit, the game immensely sets his turn back to the next session, which reduces the amount of AP that you'll earn. This basically proves that the turn-based mechanics in this game have no consistency and they're completely broken beyond all explanation. And finally, there's the Blitzball that I neglected to talk about in the previous videos because there is so much wrong with it that it requires virtually its own video. You play in teams of 6 with 1 player blocking the goal while the other 5 try to score against the opposing team. This could have been a very engaging mix between soccer and football, but they decided to turn it into a very boring and flawed role-playing combat game where everything is decided by whose numbers are higher. The Blitzball is incredibly slow-paced and boring. You swim slowly across the sphere, making it difficult for you to get anywhere, and because of the constantly shifting camera angles, you have a hard time maintaining control over your sense of direction. And what's really frustrating about the Blitzball is that everything is completely one-sided against the Besaid Aurochs. It doesn't matter how strategic you are at the Blitzball because everybody has higher stats than the guys on your team. And this problem cannot be dealt with firmly because of how horribly the leveling system is. Your teammates only level up if they take an action during the game. They don't even level up if they're dribbling or holding onto the ball. The only way everybody will level up is if they pass the ball to each other, which shouldn't feel like something you have to do because you only need a couple of players in order to get scores against the other team. Because of the horrible leveling system, your team becomes very unbalanced, and even when they level up, the stats that increase aren't even useful to them. Your goalie's catch number doesn't go up despite that that's the only thing that they're doing, and if that number doesn't go up, they'll be completely useless to you and the other team will have many opportunities to score against you. As you try to get to the other side of the sphere to score a goal, you'll always be overrun by the other players. They have high attack points and block points, so they'll either knock the ball away from you or they'll catch it and stop you from scoring. What's truly infuriating about the Blitzball is that the game doesn't even play by its own number-based rules. Even if you have more than enough HP to withstand an attack, somehow the attacker is given additional points to knock the ball away from you. This has happened so many times that I can't even think of it as a glitch in the system. Once again, it's the incompetent shit-suckers who made this game rushing it out to market before testing it to see if it worked properly. I mean, look at this. I should have been able to withstand that attack, but the game randomly decided to give the attacker an additional 8 points, just the right amount that it needed to take the ball out of my hands. Fuck you, Final Fantasy X. You also have the misfortune of playing against teams who use cheap-ass status ailments, making the game even more one-sided one-sided, inflicting poison, preventing you from using special moves, wither attacks that reduce your capabilities, and nap attacks that completely incapacitate your team, preventing them from doing anything. This does bring me to the marked system where you can learn abilities from other players by having your team follow them around, but the marked system is completely broken. You could have your teammates following your opponent throughout the entire game, and they won't learn a single skill that was highlighted in blue when you're setting them up before the game. And because mark mode only works if your team is following opponents throughout the field, it means that your goalie will most likely never learn super goalie ability because they won't be on the field. You're only going to use them for preventing the other team from scoring, and you're most likely not going to be stupid enough to have someone else take up the job because their catch number is so low. By pressing the triangle button in the middle of the game, you can also have your team take up different positions depending on the situation. But at the beginning, you're only given 3 modes to choose from: left side, right side, and mark mode. That's it. You can unlock new positions and playstyles as you improve your performance, but the new positions that you unlock are just as useless. What makes it useless is that the AI for everybody who isn't the player currently controlling the ball is completely retarded. They usually waste a lot of time swimming around in circles and not even going after whoever has the ball. You can set your team to take offensive and defensive positions, and they don't really do anything that equals offense or defense. They may go after an opposing player who has the ball if they try to get close to the goal, but aside from that, they don't ever function in the way that you need them to in order to get the drop on your opponent. And the opposing AI can be just as equally stupid. They sometimes pass the ball to a teammate who's on the other side of the sphere even if they have a clear shot at the goal, and sometimes they try to shoot for the goal when they're not anywhere near it, completely reducing their chances of scoring a hit. What really bothers me is that the idiots who made this game really enjoyed themselves cock-teasing you into thinking that Blitzball was going to be something cool. This opening sequence with all sorts of fast-paced action and rock music really makes it seem like Blitzball is going to be fun. And when you finally take control of the Blitzball, you don't get access to any of the cool stuff that was shown in the opening. The pacing is slow, the controls are a mess, you can't go up, down, or around the sphere, only being forced to go in 2 directions the whole time, and that boring music that plays on loop the whole time is so shallow and uninspired. The Blitzball is literally so bad that I probably wouldn't have bothered talking about it, but because it's required to get the celestial weapons, I pretty much had to force myself to go through with it. See, the thing is, you have to play Blitzball in order to get Wakka's sigil, but unfortunately your access to the sigil is blocked until you unlock his overdrives. And the overdrives themselves are also locked behind having to play Blitzball. You also have to obtain them in a specific order in which you have to try out for a league first, and then a tournament, and then a league, and then a tournament again, and then back to a league. Leagues are 10 matches long, while tournaments are 3 matches long, or 2 if you're lucky enough, which chances are you will not be lucky enough to get only 2 matches for a tournament. The thing about that is that tournaments tend to come and go, and you won't be able to get the overdrives if the price that they're offering is not at the top of the list. You have to constantly soft reset the game until the tournament offers an overdrive as a prize. And after you've completed a league, it constantly resets itself to have a different prize as first place. What I'm saying is that after you get the 4th overdrive, which will allow you to get the sigil for winning a league, you'll see that the league was already open by the time that tournament was over, and after that league starts up, you can't reset which prize is offered for first place. So you have to complete the current league and then do another league that offers the sigil as first prize. With all of that calculated together, you'll have to play at least 46 games of Blitzball before you've obtained all of the overdrive reels and the sigil for Wakka's weapon. You'll be doing the exact same boring shit over and over and over for hours, and because the Blitzball is so slowly paced, you'll feel like you've been doing it for even longer than that. The incompetent fucking morons who created this video game put so little thought into the goddamn Blitzball, and then they made it into a requirement to gain access to some of the most powerful equipment and attacks in the game. But the one thing that truly just annoys me about the Blitzball is the fact that it even exists. Actual development time was put into making it. Development time that could have been spent on bettering other aspects of the game, wasted on creating one of the most boring and and horribly broken minigames in any video game I've ever experienced. I just want to know, why would they do this? Why would they waste so much time working on this bullshit? Did they really think that anyone was going to find the Blitzball fun? Did they think that anyone was gonna go back to it after obtaining Wakka's overdrives and sigil for his celestial weapon? I never played Blitzball again after I got what I needed from spending 10 hours of my life on its bullshit, and I can't imagine anyone with an actual sense of dignity going back to it either, because quite frankly, it offers nothing that encourages you to go back to it. The controls are clunky, the AI has the intelligence of a Trump supporter, the mark mode is broken, the mathematics and number system are a discordant fucking mess, the difficulty is all over the place, from matches that are won too easily, to matches that ass fuck you with opponents who use cheap status ailments, having status numbers that are too high for you to counter, and pressuring you to the point where you have absolutely no choice but to cheat the system by having your dribble player hide behind the goalie. And fuck you, makers of Final Fantasy X, for telling me that I have to fight Dark Yojimbo 5 times in a row with no saves in between. I'm done. I'm finally done. I am just so infuriated by the existence of this fucking shit sucker of a video game. I really just want to get started on my 2016 movie reviews now. I'm sorry if I got too angry. This game was just horrible.